All right, hello yogis. Welcome to your practice. Today our practice is focusing on yin and yang, and I like to look at yin and yang both on the mat as well as off the mat. So today we're going to practice the combination on the mat, and it gives us an opportunity to really reflect and drop in to where we can find that balance of yin and yang off the mat. For our practice today, it might be helpful for you to have a couple of blocks. However, it's not critical. So if you have something like 2 blocks or something similar that you can use as a support, by all means, go grab those, have those here and available to you. If not, don't worry. So we're going to begin in child's pose. So go ahead and start in the shape of neutral table. Bring your big toes to touch. Bring your hips back to your heels, and then soften your chest to the floor. Your knees can be together or further apart. And then what I'm going to encourage you to do is to flip your palms so that the hands face up, the elbows are soft, and the forehead meets the earth. Now, for some, it might be more comfortable to bring a block beneath the forehead, just depending on how your groins feel, how your hips feel. Go ahead and soften into the shape of child's pose. When we're in this shape, especially with the palms facing up, we're in the receptive shape. We're receiving, we're open, we're in a very yin position. Throughout our practice today, we'll be holding various yin poses for a couple of minutes each to give you a taste of that balance throughout our practice. We'll also continue and move with flow, allowing the energy to course through our bodies, to feel the action side of yang. And together, after our 75 minutes here together, hopefully you'll walk away from your practice having a deeper sense of that balance with some tools on how you can apply that also off the mat. Draw a nice deep in-breath here. And exhale. Feel the heaviness of the hips drop back to the heels. Bring your focus and your attention to the shins, to the tops of the feet, to the connection to the earth. Breathe wide into the sides of the waist. And feel a softness in your palms. Maybe as you bring your focus and your attention to your palms, you notice your fingers curl slightly, finding a softening not only for the palms of the hands, but for the fingers. As the shoulders drop down, as the arms feel heavy. If the child's pose position with forehead facing down does not feel good for your body, does not feel good for your knees, moving into a position on your back with the knees drawing in can also be used right now to have a similar opening. Let's take another couple of rounds of breath here. And then slowly bring yourself up to neutral table. We'll move into the shape of cat-cow, pressing the hands into the earth. Squeeze those forearms together. Lengthen the tail to the space behind you. The crown of the head lengthens forward. Drawing in, breath here. Open the heart, splay the sitting bones. Feel the shoulder blades move down the back. And then exhale, round the back. Let go of the head. Bring the gaze in between the thighs. Really press into the hands to arch the spine up towards the sky. Inhale, heart lifts. We'll continue to move with the breath, taking a few rounds here. Then coming back to neutral table, start swaying those hips from side to side. Begin to feel the side body opening. Allow the shoulders to move in the same direction as the hips, and then bring the gaze into the opposite direction. Hips go right, gaze looks left. Hips go left, shoulders left, gaze over the right shoulder. Few rounds like this. Feeling the hips opening, feeling the sides of the waist opening. And then the next time we come back to center, let's start making rotations with the hips. Hips reach right, back, left, forward. Moving in clockwise direction here. Keep pressing into those inner hands, fingers spread wide. Allowing those arms to be straight and strong, really moving up those shoulder joints, the hip joints. And then the next time that you come back to center, shoulders over wrist, let's switch directions, counterclockwise. Allowing the breath to determine the motion. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here, a few more rotations. Good, and then coming back to center, head back at 12 o'clock. Let's tuck the toes as we step the hands slightly forward and lift up into downward facing dog. Take a moment or two here to set your alignment. Press into the inner hand, spread those fingers wide. If the shoulders are feeling a little tight today, bring the hands a little bit wider than you normally might. Soften the knees, press the chest back towards the thighs, lift those hips nice and high. And then bend that left knee deep as you reach the right heel towards the earth. And then switch it up, bend the right knee deep, left heel lowers. Hips stay lifted, press firmly into the base of each of the fingers. One more time each side, bending the left knee, lower the right heel. And then switch. Coming back to neutral dog pose, feet are hip width apart. Inhale forward to plank pose, top of a push-up. Push into the earth, firm the quads, open the heart forward, coming to the tiptoes. And then exhale, downward facing dog. We'll do that again. Inhale forward to plank, top of a push-up. Bring that heart forward. Lower the knees to the mat, shoulder heads move back and down. Exhale, lower, elbows squeeze in. Keeping the shoulder heads moving back, shoulder blades moving down. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Bring the palms next to the chest, elbows squeeze in. Cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, lower. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. As you lift, imagine that you're lifting from behind the heart, keeping those lower ribs drawn in, abdominals engaged. Inhale, lift, moving with the breath. Exhale, lower. We'll do one more. Inhale, lift, pause here, keeping those elbows soft, the shoulders drop away from the ears, belly draws in, quadriceps stay engaged. And then exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Step that right foot forward. Drop the left knee down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, arms reach up. Soften the hips forward. Squeeze those thighs in and bring those shoulder blades back down. Take a moment to spiral the pinkies inward. Keep the base of the skull lifted, keeping the neck long. Lift the gaze more than you lift the chin. In breath here. Exhale, release the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank pose. Follow the breath, inhale here. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin or chaturanga to the earth. Point the toes straight back. This time, reach the palms to face each other behind you. Base of the neck is long, base of the skull lengthens forward. Maybe lift the feet. Keep those inner ankles towards each other. In breath here. Exhale, lower palms come down. Pause here, in breath. Exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, right knee to the earth. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hips sink forward, thighs hug in. Pinkies spiral. Reach the sternum up and keep hugging those thighs together, especially if you're reaching in towards a back bend. Thighs draw in, belly engages. And then exhale, release the hands, make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga, all the way to the earth. Yogi's choice, cobra pose or back to locust. Palms face each other, feet may lift. Reach the sternum forward and lengthen the tail back. Belly engages, palms stay soft. Activate the fingertips. And then exhale, lower the palms if they're not already to the earth. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Step that right foot forward. Pause here, straight leg lunge. Now you might choose to use blocks here, right beneath the shoulders, right underneath the hands. So we don't want to reach too far forward for blocks or too far back, so make the blocks work for you. Come to the ball of the back foot, straighten that left leg. Left hand stays grounded on the earth or on your block, right into an open twist. Right arm lifts. Lengthen the crown forward. Spiral that right pinky finger inward. Press into the block or the earth to bring the energy from the earth and up, out through those right fingertips. Hips sink down, thighs hug in. Exhale, lower that right hand down. Step it back, downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale forward to plank, lower the knees down, and then walk the hands forward. Right into puppy pose. Lower the forehead, shoulders soften. You can flip the palms and hips stay over the knees. Now, if the flipped palms position doesn't feel great for your shoulders, bring the palms facing down. Press into the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Step that left foot forward, fingertips stay grounded. Hands to blocks or hands to the earth, heart lifts forward. Press into the ball of the right foot to lengthen that leg. Activate, lifting that hamstring up to the sky, lifting the sternum forward. Moving into that open twist, right hand stays grounded, left arm reaches up. Keep squeezing the thighs together, spiral that pinky inward. Press into that left heel, release any gripping toes on that front foot. In breath here. Exhale, lower that left foot, that left hand down. Now let's step the right foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, arms come up. Exhale, palms to heart. Pausing here, let's take a moment to set an intention for our practice. Rooting into the soles of the feet. Eyes rest closed. Checking in with the physical self. Checking in with the whole self. And with our focus of Yin Yang today, reminding ourselves too that while yin and yang is balanced, it doesn't always mean equal. So giving yourself permission to find a balance that supports you. Lower the hands down. Inhale, arms reach up. We're going to open the right side body. So take the left hand to the right wrist. Press those right hips to the right. Reaching up and over, softening those shoulders. Maybe the feet feel better hip width apart. Otherwise, big toes together, heels apart slightly. Set a foundation that supports you. Inhale up through center, and then we're going to switch over to the other side. Pressing that left hip to the left, take that right hand to the left forearm or wrist, reaching up and over to the right. Press through the ball mounds of the big toes, spread those toes wide. Inhale up through center, exhale, palms lower. Coming right back into Tadasana, lower the hands, lengthen the tail, press into the soles of the feet. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Belly draws in, heart lifts, toes float. Bring that weight to your heels, lower the hips. Now if the shoulders are tight, switch the position of the arms, create field goal shape arms. You can always modify by bringing the palms to heart or hands to hips. In breath here. Exhale, lift those hips and fold. Let go of the head. Keep a soft bend in the knees. Make sure those shoulder blades continue down the back rather than drawing towards gravity and into the neck. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. And if you like, interlace those fingers behind the back or take a strap or a towel and bring those interlaced fingers up and over, keeping a micro bend in the elbows. And then release the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. We're going to step the right foot a little bit over to the right. We're going to step that left foot back. Both hands are on the inside of that right foot. We're moving into dragon pose, our first yin pose of today's practice. So I like to bring my heel onto the mat and the toes slightly off the mat, about 45 degrees. The knee tracks over that right foot. Now this is where blocks or any kind of prop could come in handy. And I'm going to set a timer here. We're going to do this for 2 minutes. So we're at the beginning of this pose. And I like to start conservatively. I like to start high, give my hips a chance to adapt. You can also start high with fingertips on the earth. Really just depends on how you're feeling today. And then maybe after a few breaths or so, you decide you want to drop a little bit lower. Maybe forearms come to blocks or to the earth. But if you find that the breath becomes restrictive or labored, or that it's really difficult to hold the shape, then maybe back off just a little bit. And I think that's a great correlation to life off the mat too. Sometimes we drive hard and we need to remember to bring that yin into our lives, that creative space, that receptive space. So even if we approach our yin pose with a yang drive action energy, then we miss an opportunity to receive, to understand, to listen deeply to the needs of our body. And that correlates to off the mat. Really paying attention. So we're more than halfway through. Become aware of the sensations of the body. What messages are you receiving? Can you perhaps make an adjustment, whether you want to move a little bit deeper or back off just a little bit? Know that it's all acceptable. And remember too that it's a practice. Another breath or two here. And then slowly begin to straighten your arms, walk yourself back. Bring your right foot back into alignment of the right hip. Tuck your back toes, straighten that leg. Let's move right into a twist again. Nice open twist. Charge up that back leg, lower the hips, extend through the right arm. Nice twist here. In breath here. Exhale, lower, step it back, downward facing dog. Now you might notice a difference between the two sides here. Take a moment to scan the body and see how it feels. Step that left hand a little bit towards center of the mat, and let's step that left foot forward, drop the right knee down. Now we're moving into dragon on the second side. So remember, we're at the beginning of this pose. So again, you might want to start up higher. Ease yourself into it. Left heel on the mat, left toes come slightly off the mat. Whatever angle your foot is, allow the knee and thigh to follow that same angle. So if it's 45 degrees, allow that same alignment. Taking good care of our knees here. And then perhaps lowering down if you feel ready, or maybe you're already there. Breathe deeply into the inner thighs, into that left hip, into the front of the right hip. We're just about halfway through. Commit to the breath here. So we're holding yin shape. We're theoretically in this receptive opening space, but there is work happening. There is action, and the action is the breath. So allow that breath to be full. Commit to it 100%. Soften through that left hip. Soften through the front of the right hip. Just a few more rounds of breath here. And then slowly making your way out. If you're using blocks, put them to the side. And then slowly begin to exit this pose by stepping back into downward facing dog. Nice inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, release. Let's do that 2 more times. Cleansing breaths. Inhale. One more. Let's step that right foot forward once again. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, arms reach up. Working through the shoulders here, let's bend that right elbow. Take the left hand to the right elbow, opening up the back of the right arm. Keep hugging those thighs in. Good. Exhale, release the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. We'll step the left foot forward, right knee down. Hips sink down, heart lifts, arms follow. Then bending the left elbow, taking that right hand to the left elbow, left hand travels down the middle of the back. Lift the sternum up, pull those ribs in, lift the hips, the hip points up towards the lower ribs. Soften the inner shoulders away from the ears. One more in-breath here. And then exhale, release the hands. We'll step it forward, top of the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Lower the hips to the height of the knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Nice low hips here, heart opens. And then stand to Tadasana, palms to heart. Let's inhale, reach those arms up. We'll open up the right side body again. Plant those feet, reaching those arms up and over to the left. Inhale up. And then over to the right, left side body opening. One more each side. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale. Wrap those left ribs forward. Inhale, lift. And exhale to the right. Wrap those right ribs forward. Inhale up through center. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on the in-breath. We'll step the left foot back. Straight leg lunge. Hands can come to blocks the earth or maybe hands to hips. Moving right into crescent. Arms reach up. Let's move into eagle arms here. Right under left. Elbows lift. Palms come together. So modification here would be keeping that left arm straight and using the right arm to draw the left arm towards the body. In breath here. Exhale, lower. Step it back, downward facing dog. We'll move through a flow. Inhale, plank. Knees, chest, and chin or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Back to downward facing dog. We'll step that left foot forward, coming into that straight leg lunge. Hips sink down, thighs hug in, arms reach up. Heart lifts, gaze lifts, back of the neck stays long. And then left underneath right. Eagle arms. Modification is right arm straightens, left arm hugs that right arm in. Find resistance between those forearms. Drop those upper arm bones back into the shoulder sockets. In breath here. Exhale, lower, step it back. Downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa. Or lower the knees to the mat, pull the hips to the heels for a few rounds of breath. Making your way back to the shape of downward facing dog. Moving into our next yin posture, let's bring our right knee forward for pigeon. Now, again, just like in child's, there are options for pigeon, and that could mean you're coming onto your back, moving into a figure four. So we'll do each side once again for 2 minutes. Now you can start lifted and upward facing pigeon or making your way down. And if you're choosing to be on your back, bend that right knee, cross the right ankle on the left thigh, and draw the left leg in. Whatever version you take, stay connected to the breath. So holding pigeon in a yin shape, or rather for a couple of minutes, probably doesn't feel as challenging or difficult as some of the other shapes, because oftentimes when we come into the shape of pigeon, we do pause and we do hold. I encourage you to continue to stay focused on the breath. Notice where you might be gripping in the body. So So this very hip-focused class here can feel very opening, very intense. There's all kinds of sensations and feelings that may arise. Feel how you feel. You may have heard me say before that the hips are the junk drawer of the body. I'm not sure where I picked that phrase up, but I've used it for a long time because anything that we don't deal with physically or mentally, emotionally, oftentimes resides somewhere in the body and oftentimes in the hips. So it's important for us to focus on that area of the body and explore the feelings through the breath, explore the sensations. We're going to start to come out of that one. And we'll slowly make our way back to downward facing dog. So if you're ever in a hip-focused class or a position that's deep opening for the hips and something feels uncomfortable or new or something arises, pay attention, honor it without judgment. And then let's move to the second side. Left knee forward if you're moving into traditional pigeon. Otherwise, coming onto your back, crossing that left ankle on the right knee and drawing that knee in. Now, again, we are at the very front end of this pose, just in the beginning. So take some time, maybe adding props if you need to, bringing that pelvis and that sacrum to a neutral shape. And then taking your time to lower and just recognizing the power of the breath, scanning the body for areas of tightness, and seeing if you can use that out breath to release, to soften. The body's wisdom communicates with us. We learn so much by listening to our body. Sometimes that is the actual hardest thing to do, is truly listen, which is why we practice. Really allow those in-breaths to lengthen. And see if you can elongate the out-breaths more than the in-breaths. Just a little bit longer. If the in-breath was a count of 4, maybe the out-breath is a count of 5 or 6. Good. Slowly making your way back up. Pressing into your hands, tucking your back toes, lifting up, downward facing dog. And then slowly walking your feet about halfway up the mat or all the way to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Let go of the head. And then root to rise, arms come up. Exhale, palms lower to heart. So we're going to move into balance. Moving into a standing balance here, we're going to root into the sole of the right foot. Find your pelvis in that neutral shape. So hip points lift, tail lengthens. The pelvic bowl is neutral. Draw the left knee up. Depending on how you're feeling with balance today, you might choose to ground the ball of the left foot and brace the heel towards the right ankle. If you feel a little bit more stable, you might choose to bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh or to the calf. And then bring the palms to heart. Shoulders soften, sternum lifts. Pull those lower ribs in again. Draw the navel in. Press into the sole of the right foot. Spread those toes wide. And then if you like, maybe open the arms. You can bring them out wide. If that feels stable, you can bring them together above the head. Once again, lowering those inner shoulders down. Soften the face. Steady with the breath. Just a couple more rounds here. And then exhale, release the hands, release the left leg, shake out that right leg a little bit. And then come to stand on the left foot. Again, knowing the options, maybe that right heel comes into the left ankle. Otherwise, again, remembering balance doesn't mean equal. So if one side feels more stable than the other, stay with it, be with it, release expectation, and meet your body where it's at in this moment. Placing the sole of the foot above or below. This one's going below today. Bring the palms together. And then if you're feeling stable and you're feeling connected to your breath, reach your arms up overhead. Keep length at the back of the neck. Drop those shoulders down, keeping length on the sides of the neck. Release any tension from the jaw. You can wiggle your chin from left to right. One more in-breath here. And then slowly lower the hands, lower the right leg, shake out the left. Good. Now we're going to step our feet nice and wide on the mat. Turn the right toes out. Right heel intersects with left arch. Hands come to hips. Firm that right quadricep so we don't lock out that knee, but keep the engagement of the thigh. Neutral pelvis, lunge into that right leg. As much as you reach forward, press back into that left outer edge of the foot. And then as you're ready, float your arms. Hug the shoulder blades down and back. Flip the palms if that's helpful for you to soften. We're going to move through a flow, following the breath. Inhale, straighten the leg, palms come together. Exhale. Right forearm, right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten, pressing into that right heel. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left hand, left leg, right arm lifts, soften that left shoulder. And then exhale. Moving with the breath, inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. Now you can place your right forearm here, or if you're working more into the core, reach your right arm towards that left foot, reach up and over. Coming back through center. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Same thing this side, left arm goes towards that right knee, in breath, nice long side body stretch. Exhale. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, modified side angle. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten, firm thigh. Exhale. Inhale, joyful warrior, with or without modification. Exhale. Let's straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Now keep the legs straight as you reach the fingertips, hinging at that hip. Keep that left hand either extended or on the hip, and then extend that fingertips down towards the shin or to a block or to the earth. Now with that left shoulder, bring it back and down. Shoulder blades travel down towards the hips, freeing the neck. Left arm lifts, if that's accessible to you. Pinky spirals inward. Now soften those left ribs down, creating length for the right side waist. Tuck your chin slightly. Gaze can be forward in the same direction as your chest, maybe up towards the hand or down towards the foot. Pressing into the soles of the feet, soften the right knee as you come back up to warrior two. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Pivot on that right heel, bring your feet parallel to each other. Exhale, interlace the hands behind. Again, you could use a strap or a towel or clasp opposite elbows. In breath here. Feet are parallel, heels out, toes in slightly. Exhale, hinge and fold. Soft bend in the elbows, let go of the head. Then leading with the chest, bring yourself back up to standing. Pivot on your left heel, toes point out. Straight leg, hips are neutral. Then set that lunge, keeping those hips neutral. Peek down and see your left big toe. That means your left knee is opening. Firm the right thigh, the outer edge of that right foot, and extend the arms. Again, moving with our flow. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, joyful warrior. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, extended side angle, using the variation that supports you. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, joyful warrior. Good core strength here. Squeezing in. Exhale. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, reach the arms to a T, right hand, right hip, or extended. Reach those left fingertips and then descend. Peel that right shoulder up, back, and down. Soften the right ribs towards the earth and extend the right arm up. Pinky spiral inward, stay strong in the back leg. Bring that left shoulder back and down. Gaze can travel wherever it supports you. In breath here. Exhale, release it back and down. Downward facing dog. Nice deep in breath here. Exhale, release. Let's do 2 more cleansing breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale forward to plank. Lower all the way down to the mat. Chaturanga, our knees, chest, and chin. Straighten out those legs. Plant the palms. We're going to move through 5 moving cobras again. Before we begin to move, hug those elbows to the waist. Bring the shoulders up, back, and down. Lift the sternum. And envision that you are lifting from behind the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, thighs engaged. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Making your way into downward facing dog. Walk the hands toward each other and then step the right foot to the outside of the right hand and the left foot to the outside of the left hand. And we're going to lower into a squat. And we're going to hold this, let me get my timer here, for 2 minutes. And I want to give you some options because I know this doesn't feel good for everybody. You can take a block and you can place it beneath your hips. Because what we're doing is we're working the groins and the hips. So if sitting here, is more accessible, you're going to benefit from this because not everybody's heels reach comfortably to the earth. You can also move into Baddha Konasana, sitting with soles of feet together. Or if you prefer to come to your back, you could move into Happy Baby. And I'm starting now. I like to place my elbows to the inner knees and then lift the sternum towards the thumbs. But I want to give you some options here as well. Remembering too that we just entered into this pose. We've got over a minute left, so we want to make sure that we're taking care. You might choose to bring your shoulders deeper, hugging those knees into the shoulders, and you could even walk your hands forward and let go of your head. So yogi's choice here, modify for where you are right now. Remember that in the shape of yin, we can still find the yang. We can use the breath to drive through this position. Just like through our vinyasa part of the class, we use the breath to soften, to bring the yin, to create the space. A reminder of the power of the breath and how we can use it both on and off the mat to bring clarity to our purpose, to our goals, to create pause, to soothe anxiety. The breath, or pranayama in yoga, is incredibly powerful. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. Good. And then let's slowly bring our hands behind. Come into Baddha Konasana. If you're already there, we're joining you. You can bring the heels in towards the body if you are able to bring the pelvis into a neutral position. If it is difficult because of tight hips, bring the feet further away so that the shape is more diamond-like in between the legs. Bring the soles of the feet together. We're not going to be here long, and this isn't necessarily a yin pose now, but let's make sure we're set up for this one. We want to make sure we can lift the heart and then begin to hinge at the hips. Now, if the feet are considerably further away from the body, which is completely acceptable, then I would encourage you to round your back a little bit more in that yin shape. We'll just be here for a handful of breaths. Feel the release in the spine. Feel opening in the outer hips, the inner thighs. Breathe deeply into the space behind the heart, into the back, into the shoulders. And then slowly make your way up. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on our back here, doing some core work. So go ahead and come onto your back, soles of the feet on the mat. And I want you to draw your right knee in. Soften the shoulders down towards the mat. Lift your left heel a couple of inches off the earth and activate that foot, flexing or pointing or somewhere in between, but activate it. And then lift your head, neck, and shoulders. And then I want you to bring your hands behind your head, and we're going to move into crunches over to the right side. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. The shoulders stay lifted the entire time. We'll do 10, 9, 8. Use your breath. That's the yin here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and lower head, neck, and shoulders. Lower the left leg, lower the right leg. Bring the left foot, sole of foot to the earth. Lengthen the right heel long. Draw that left knee in. Pausing here for a moment. And then lift the right heel, activate the foot, lift the head, neck, and shoulders, drawing everything in, and then interlace the fingers. We'll go 10 over to the left side, right elbow crosses, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, give it a squeeze, 4, 3, activate those feet, 2, and 1. Slowly lower everything back down. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Extend your arms forward. Roll your shoulders in just slightly. Bring the knees over the ankles or thereabouts. Feet are hip width apart and parallel. We'll move into some moving bridges, and then we'll pause and hold bridge pose. We'll do 5 moving bridges. We're going to open the front body now, pressing into the heels, spread the toes wide. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift, lifting those hips up, opening the front of the thighs. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lift. Third one here. Exhale, lower. Keep those knees tracking over the center line of the feet. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. This time we're going to hold and roll the shoulders under a little bit more if that's available to you. Hands can grip the outer edges of the mat or interlace fingers. Press the back of the head into the mat. Press the heels into the mat. Lift the chin slightly. We want to keep the curve of the cervical spine, the spine of the neck. If you feel that area of the neck flattening, please slowly lower down and pause there. We want to keep that neck curve natural. Also, too, in the shape of bridge pose, we want to keep the gaze up. So resist always when we're in this shape from looking from side to side, checking something out. Take good care of your spine. One more in-breath here. And then slowly, with the hips lifted, release the shoulders, and then we're going to lower down nice and slow. So lower that upper back. Good. Lower the middle back, the lower back, the back of the pelvis, and then pause here. Feel how you feel. Stay connected to the breath. And then rolling over to one side, bringing yourself up to seated. A few more yin postures for us here tonight. We're going to extend our legs wide. Actually, no, we are going to extend first the left leg wide. We're going to bring that right heel in towards center. Now you might choose to use a block here to support. Keep those left toes lifted and active, and the block may serve as a support for your arm. We're going to move into a side body stretch here. First, opening the right side body. Lower the left forearm to the block, to the thigh, to the earth. Wherever you can find lift and opening. So if you can find that when you're at the lowest level, by all means, use that. Work with the different heights of the blocks or whatever other props you have. And then just like in triangle, bring that right shoulder up, back, and down. And then reach that right arm up and over. And if this is good, staying here. I'm going to set the timer. We're going to hold these for 1 minute. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, bend the elbow and place the right hand on the left ear. And then drop the weight of the head into the arm. That'll add some depth to that right side body opening. But if it's too intense, back off. Or you can always bring that right arm back behind the body in a half bind. About halfway there. Soften the left shoulder down. Another deep in-breath here. And then exhale, slowly release that top arm and extend through the fingertips to bring yourself back up through center. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to stay lifted, find the rooting through the sitting bones, and then hinge forward. So it's a one-legged, wide-legged forward fold. It can feel a little bit more accessible, and we're going to hold it for a minute. You can bring your forearms to the earth. You can use a block or two to support. And maybe you feel that keeping the arms straight with the hands grounded is enough. Again, we've just entered this pose. We just came out of the first pose. So give yourself permission to ease in with the breath. Ease off the throttle, ease off the gas. So we put our bodies in these receptive poses, allowing the layers to begin to drop away, the layers of tension. And we use the breath as the yang to drive through the pose, to navigate with purpose. Stay connected. Just a breath or two here. Nice deep in-breath. And exhale. Let's do one more. And then slowly walk the hands back up through to center. We'll bring the left sole of foot in as we reach the right leg out to the side. Bring the left heel in, flex through that right foot, ground through both sitting bones. And we're going to start with the side body opener here. Again, using the block. And remember, this is the beginning of this side now. And this side may be different. So even though it's balanced coming from one side to the other, if we take the practice of yin and yang, we think about it, right? It doesn't always mean it's equal. So if you don't feel like you can move into an equal shape as you did the other side, that's okay. Meet your body where it's at. Pause here. Bring that left shoulder up, back, and down, and then extend that arm up. Drop that upper arm bone in. Extend the fingers towards the right toes, and then maybe bend the arm. Place the left hand on the right ear, opening the heart, feeling that left side body open. Feel that left knee get heavy. This is also great for the lower back, the quadratus lumborum area, that lower left quadrant on this side here. And breathe into the area of tension. We're more than halfway through. I always find this one to be a little bit intense, so I think a minute is a really good time. Of course, you can always pause and hold this for longer. Practice this at another time, giving yourself that side body opener. One more deep in-breath here. Then slowly reaching through those left fingertips and using that reach to bring yourself back up through the center. And then we're going to move into that forward fold once again. Bringing those hips back to neutral. Activate that right foot. Inhale, lifts the sternum. Exhale, hinge and fold. Adjusting the props as you need to. And again, if you're not using props, you can certainly use your hands, your forearms without props. And then we'll begin the time. 1 minute. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw and your temples. Allow the breath to be full and purposeful, guiding you through your practice, guiding you through this pose. We'll take another 2 rounds of breath. Nice deep inhale. Really elongate that inhale. And then exhale even longer than that. 1 more. And then slowly walking yourself out of this pose, walking the hands back towards your body. And then bring the sole of the right foot to meet the left. One more Baddha Konasana here. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Pausing here for a few rounds of breath. And then come on up. Bring the knees together. We'll come back onto our backs. And if you have a block, you might want it. Again, not required. It might be helpful or not. Bring the soles of the feet on the earth. Bring the feet a little bit wide. And then I want you to cross your right ankle on your left thigh. And then drop the knees over to the right. So both feet stay flexed here. The left glute is going to come up off the earth. And if this is too much for your left knee, you can take your right foot and drop it off of the knee and just place it simply on the floor, on the mat. Arms can be wherever you'd like. They can rest on the body. They can rest off of the body out to a T or bent elbows. Remember to keep both feet flexed here. Allow the earth to receive you here. Feel the heaviness of the hips. Feel the heaviness of the shoulders. Maybe you're comfortable closing your eyes at this point. Everything here on out is going to be on the back. Feel free to drop in. And then draw that sole of the left foot back to the earth. And lower the sole of the right foot down. Switching sides. Maybe shifting the hips a little bit to the right. Left ankle on the right knee. Walk that right foot slightly off the mat. Toes might turn out a little bit. You'll adjust for your body. And then drop the knees to the left with the left ankle on the right thigh. Getting that stretch into that lower right back, into the outer hip. I find that this pose can feel different on different days. It's one of those poses that accesses different parts of the area of the pelvis and associated areas, quadriceps. And again, if the knee is feeling tender and bringing that left foot to the earth feels more comfortable, please listen to your body. Another breath or two here. And then slowly bring the sole of the right foot to the earth, lower the sole of the left foot down. We're going to move into a twist now, a full twist, and we're going to hang out in it for 2 minutes on each side. So shifting those hips a little bit to the right, straighten the left leg, draw the right knee in, and we are going to twist our right knee over to the left. So if you have a block and you want to use that block underneath the right knee, that might feel nice and supportive. And we're going for 2 minutes here. Soften the right shoulder down. Maybe the arms extend. Maybe they're bent elbow shape to keep those shoulders lowered. And anytime that we're in twist, it's great to bring that breath wide. Think about moving it wide into the sides of the waist, into the lower back. Keeping your head in a neutral position facing the ceiling, the sky, or maybe bringing the head to face in the same direction as the right knee. Where can you soften? Where can you surrender? Where can you let go of any gripping? And then navigate through this shape with the breath. Keep it active. Stay intentional. So often we unconsciously hold tension in our bodies, our shoulders, our hips, our backs. And unless we consciously pause and bring our focus and our attention to the areas of the body that get a little bit hung up, shoulders, hips, back, neck, jaw, then we move into that autopilot. So that breath focus, that pause, that yin, that receptive mentality with the focus and drive and intention of the breath can bring our balance back and give us that sense of equanimity. Let's draw in one more in-breath here. Bring the navel to the spine as you roll back onto your back. Soles of the feet are on the earth. And now shift those hips to the left. Straighten your right leg. Draw your left knee in. And then bring your left knee over to the right. And again, it's fine if your knee hovers. Or you can bring something beneath your knee. Or maybe your knee reaches the earth. And then soften the left shoulder down. So if the left shoulder is popping up, bend the left elbow to encourage that descension, that connection to the earth. And then support the left leg so that that left shoulder can stay rooted. So that's why I like to use props in twists, is to support the leg so the shoulder can stay grounded, keeping the origin, the foundation of this pose supported as we breathe wide into the sides of the waist, into the lower back, into the jaw, into the neck and the shoulders. Eyes might be closed. Gaze would be soft. Where can you release tension right now? Where can you soften? Can you use the power of the breath, the yang energy, the intentional focus of letting go to find softness? Maybe it's the jaw. Maybe it's in the throat. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly, using the strength of the core, bring yourself back into center. Straighten out the hips. Bring both knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Massaging the lower back, the outer hips. And then bring the hands to the kneecaps and start drawing circles so that you can massage the back of the pelvis. And then switch directions. And then hug your knees into your chest, hug your chest into your thighs, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Give yourself a hug, a show of gratitude for coming to your mat today. And then lowering all the way down into Shavasana. Extending your legs as wide as your mat. Rolling the shoulders slightly. Feeling the toes roll in and out, softening the hips and the legs. Draw a nice deep in-breath. At the top of the in-breath, pause and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Open your mouth, release in complete surrender. Shavasana. Palms are soft, thighs release, hips are heavy, shoulders are grounded. Breath is natural, no effort for the breath, complete surrender. Soften your inner gaze. Allow the entire body to be heavy, supported, and grounded. Slowly begin to deepen the breath, bringing awareness back to the physical body. Making small movements with your fingers and your toes, your arms, your legs. Bring your palms to heart center. Taking a moment here to honor the intention you set for your practice. Giving yourself permission to carry it with you beyond the mat. Seeking that balance, remembering that it doesn't have to be equal. Giving yourself permission to be okay with that. The light in me honors and celebrates the light in you. As you go out into the world, remember to shine. Namaste.